Can you hear us now? Yes, I think you guys can, right? Yeah, I'm asking about StreamYard. So the people who are on Facebook. Oh, do you live in the USA? Okay, okay. Yes, everyone is saying yes, they can hear me now. Good evening. Some people say good night. Yes. Okay, good evening, good evening. Good evening, everyone. All right. Okay, so for everyone who was here last time, can you remind everyone, what were we talking about yesterday evening? What were we talking about yesterday evening? If you want to speak, you can do this, right? You can raise your hand like this. And everyone on Facebook, if you want, you can type in the comments. So what did we learn yesterday evening? Okay, Whippany. Yeah, you can unmute yourself and speak. Whippany, you can speak. Oh, they have gone. Oh dear. Okay. Okay, Goy says, we discussed about what's love and how Google changed the world. Right, yesterday we did a kind of speaking lesson. So there are some more students here today. Good evening, good evening. Hello again. Hello, hello. It's nice to see everyone. Okay, so you have managed to type Thai in English. It's quite impressive. Okay. Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to write in English. We're going to talk about how to write in English for your job. Let me share my screen. Oh, 1 second. Okay, I should be able to share my screen now. Let's try. Oh, okay. We've come to this topic again, but perhaps let's move on. Perhaps let's move past the topic of love. And let's go back to talk about media and tech. Media and tech. Yeah, we also discussed stereotypes. Goy says we also discussed stereotypes. Exactly. So who can remind everyone, what is a stereotype? You can put up your hand and speak. What is a stereotype? I can wait. Guys, if you want to speak, please speak. If you don't want to speak, I will just keep talking. Everyone is so shy. Knock, what is a stereotype? Exactly, well done. So a stereotype is something that we think of when we think of this group of people, but it's probably not 100% true in all cases. Yeah, Goy says an oversimplified idea of a particular type of person. Exactly. So do you remember what kind of stereotypes we had about Australians? for example? What kind of stereotypes did we have about Australians? Yeah, they're easygoing. They're easygoing. What else? Yeah, Goy, if you can speak, you can also just unmute yourself and speak, right? Yeah, maybe they're less polite. But they're genuine. They're genuine. They're not fake in any way. Okay. It's the same. I can't do breakout rooms.
Again?
Yeah, it's the same problem.
Can you do that on this computer?
No, I'm trying on this computer.
Okay.
I mean, if you like, you can have a look and see if you can find something. Okay. Less polite. What about the stereotype of British people? Who can remember a stereotype of British people? A heavy drinker? You mean like they drink alcohol? Oh, a tea drinker. Okay. Yes, they drink tea, right? They drink tea. Pim Dao has given an excellent definition on Facebook. She said, a stereotype is an attitude of general society towards other groups or nations. Yes, excellent. So some stereotypes, remember we said about Thailand, is that maybe everybody smiles all the time. And of course, that's not always true. Okay. All right, so... Pardon? We will go crazy. Yeah, we will go crazy, absolutely. I totally agree. Okay, let's talk about now the second one. Is social media making us less social? And for everybody who is watching on Facebook, you can write your answers on Facebook. We have 31 people watching on Facebook this evening, so you can write your answers too. Is social media making us less social? What do you think? Nan, what do you think? And hello to the person who is standing behind Nan. I can also see you. Okay. Good evening, good evening. Okay, what do you think? Yeah, it's very nice. It's a great idea.
We can talk with the other that stay far away from us, such as in overseas. But the con, the disadvantage
อะไรนะแบดพอยต์แล้วใช่ไหม
disadvantage
as when everybody stay focused on telephone only they not look around
They don't look around. They don't look around. That's very true. Thank you for sharing. Okay, Nok, what about you?
Hi, teacher and everyone. First of all, I would like to introduce myself.
Please.
My name is Nok. I'm from Ubon Ratchathani, but I moved to America since 2014. And okay, this question it is a good question. If you ask me, I think nowadays social media is making us less social. I think everywhere, around the world, when you're traveling, you see people is like they have the social instead of like talking with the other person, another person is next to us, or but they focus on themselves and on mobile phone. But on the other hand, social media, like Punan said that it could be like more useful to if you like in the correct ways, like find good information and at the same time even like you the same time, but you can traveling around the world and know all kinds of stuff too. That's my answer.
Thank you very much for sharing. I agree with you, and I'm kind of curious how this is different with age, because as I was explaining to you guys yesterday, even though I'm young, maybe I have an old person's like opinion or viewpoint of this topic, right? I also totally agree with you. I think that social media can be a good tool, but we don't always use it in the correct way. But I don't think that that is necessarily our fault, because every app like Google, Instagram, TikTok, they all have teams of psychologists behind them, right? That know exactly how our brains work, and they know how to make us keep on refreshing, keep on scrolling. I think it can certainly make us less social. Okay, does anyone else have any other ideas?
They say something more than
Please.
talking about is since they've been living here in the US, in the state. So when you're talking about is so many, I would say elderly people here, or even like mid, not that old, people when they still not like not not get used to the new social media. We have like my husband brother, he's 50-year old when he got
Oh,
married.
everyone.
He doesn't know how to use like internet on his phone, and even like my husband great friend, he doesn't have Facebook or X or anything, just like the phone for call, I couldn't answer. Wow, that's you live in America, you don't know how to use that. And, it's many places that I've been around. It kind of has unbelievable that many of us still like on the gravel road. It's like oh come on, I come from Thailand, but the road in Thailand is better than your city. But anyway, many people here still live like a simple life and use social media. Kind of weird, but that happened here in here too. If you talk about it, but young kids, of course, nowadays here in America, they use like laptop for study in school everywhere right now. Yeah.
Thank you. I think
Thank you.
Yeah, I think this perspective with different cultures, different countries is particularly interesting. I have actually found the same thing in Europe. I haven't been to the US, but in Europe it's very similar. Some things are more advanced than East Asia, but many things actually are not developing as quickly as in East Asia. I think part of the reason for this is there is a lack of funding from the government. So perhaps in countries like Thailand, I don't know how the situation is, but certainly in countries like the UK, we don't have any funding for better internet or like new applications, or there's no encouragement to get people online or using any of these applications. So for example, my mother and father, they both actually live without internet. They don't have internet. Like not only on their phones, but also in their house, they don't have it. And maybe that might be shocking for some of you to hear, I don't know.
Yeah, I got that. I got what you said.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. And anybody else? Would anybody else like to share? We have someone on Facebook who says, I think social media can make everybody closer than before. On the other hand, social media makes us less social. Okay, so you're giving a for and against, right? You're doing a nice essay here. Goy says it's the same in some rural area here. Okay.
Social media makes far away people get closer, but make them closer when people far away from us.
I love that quote. Somebody says the sound is very quiet. Do you mean my sound or do you mean everybody else's voice? Because I think for everybody else's voice, it depends on their microphone, not my microphone. So I'm not sure what I can do about that. But let's see. Yeah, so we can use a construction like this, right? We can say, on the one hand, on the other hand. So on the one hand, as Rain has said, on the one hand, social media can make everybody closer than before. On the other hand, social media makes us less social. Okay, let's move on to the next question. We're going to skip this very big question, and I'm going to ask you guys instead, is voice calling dying out? Is voice calling dying out? And again, I'll be interested to hear different people's perspectives from Thailand and from different generations. Yeah, like, I mean, not just phone call, but also on Messenger or on Instagram, whatever, it doesn't matter. But just calling someone and expecting them immediately to pick up the phone and like be in a conversation with you. In the UK, this is definitely dying out. Now, if somebody calls me, I feel like maybe I've done something wrong, or I feel like they are intruding on my time. It's like they have a right to my time, but they don't actually. So as a member of the younger generation, I feel very, I don't want to say scared, that's not the right word, but I feel very shocked when someone calls me randomly because I don't have a chance to prepare for whatever the meeting will be about. Okay, what do you guys think in Thailand?
I don't think it's really dire because for my work, when I call to candidate or another supplier, we still using the telephone number because we didn't have their social account. We didn't have everybody social account. So when we try to contact the person like a candidate name or supplier, then we have to call them by phone number.
Mm. What about in your social life, Duk? Like your friends, your family? Will you just call people directly? Or will you message them first to arrange a time to call? What do you think? I'm asking you. Yes. In your social life, because that's different from work life, right?
social life, maybe less of the phone call because we have the Line ID or Line account, so we can call through the Line account.
Okay. But you will still call, you will still use your voice, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe sometimes we may call through the phone, but if and then they shouldn't have the Wi-Fi or internet signal to use the social media.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Nok, what do you think?
Okay, this is a good question. I think right now, I'm gonna talk in like general in America because you know I live here like almost 10 years. So again, depends on. I mean, it's I would say about generation again because young generation. So my daughter, example, for example, my daughter she's 14. So all the with her friend from school, they talk each other by Snapchat, not in like the regular phone. But for the older people or medium people, medium age people,
Yeah, you can say middle-aged people.
yeah, middle-aged people, they still using the regular phone or house phone.
Okay.
Even like the company, they have like WhatsApp group too nowadays. So like when they have something for like meeting, they text on the group, not cell phone, or they using email. But for regular cell phone, I mean they still use, but it's less than like WhatsApp or Snapchat, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. For me, this is a super interesting topic because in the UK, Snapchat actually is used quite differently. So Snapchat was used when I was growing up. So when I was about 13, 14, 15. So that was like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, right? So at the time, Snapchat was very, very popular and we all used it. Or maybe when I was a bit older, like 15, 16, yeah. But nowadays, no young person in the UK would use Snapchat. Nowadays, it's like a young millennial thing to use. So actual young people, actual Gen Z, either they are using some apps that I don't know about, like that's very possible, because actually, even though I'm 25, I'm not really Gen Z, right? I'm kind of in the middle, because I grew up, maybe like you guys did, I grew up without internet. And I had my first mobile phone when I was 13 years old. And on this mobile phone, like I couldn't do anything, right? I could just phone my parents and tell them that I was safe. That was all. Okay, someone is trying to get back into the room. 1 second. I'm sorry. You can come back in now. I'm sorry. Thank you. And then when I was 16, I got my first MacBook Air computer. So I went from like 0 to 100 very quickly in about 3 years. You know, I had nothing, and then I had a MacBook Air. And at the time, people in the UK were using Snapchat. Nowadays, I think a lot of Gen Z are using Discord. Like they have private Discord servers, which like I also use with my friends. I use Discord. Yeah, does anyone else use this? Goy uses this, yeah.
My nephew also use Discord.
Yeah, I use it with most of my friends. It's a really amazing platform. I also use In the UK, we mainly use Facebook Messenger, or we use Instagram, or we use Discord. So I think Instagram is the most popular. Does anyone know about Thailand? What kind of social media apps do young people use in Thailand? Line. Oh, I think like in Taiwan, right? They use Line in Taiwan and in Japan. Yeah. Instagram, everyone is saying Instagram. Okay, that is the same all over the world. Everyone uses Instagram. Okay, let's have a look at some people's comments on Facebook. Yeah, social media tends to let people become isolated. Social media tends to, guys, what is the difference? Let me share my screen. What is the difference between let people and make people? Because social media does not let people become isolated. Social media makes people become isolated. They can't hear the students.
Can you see people on the Facebook?
Yeah, they say it's very quiet, but I'm not sure how to fix it.
Yeah. Someone is.
But when they're speaking, they also can't hear,
Yeah.
like it's very quiet. Okay, anyway. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, thank you. So social media tends to let people become isolation. Let me zoom in. This is far too small. Okay, let's make it a little bigger. Okay, there we go. So we can say social media tends to make people become isolation. What should we say instead of isolation? This is a noun, right? What can we say instead? Isolate is the verb. Actually, we need an adjective here. And if you want to speak, please raise your hand, because students on Facebook, they can't see the chat. So if you can speak out loud, that's very helpful for the students on Facebook. Social media tends to make people become isolated. ED. Right, an adjective. And what's the difference between to let and to make? Social media lets people. That sounds like it's a good thing. Usually, to let means to allow, to permit. So for example, I could say, my mom lets me go to parties until 11 p.m. Right? So this is something that I want to do, right? Maybe I'm a teenager. I want to go to these parties until 11 a.m. 11 a.m., 11 p.m. That would be a very long party. 11 p.m., right? My mom lets me. She allows me. So we can use it in another way. For example, computers let us talk to friends all around the world. So here it's a bit more abstract, right? Here let doesn't mean they allow us, but it means it enables us. It makes it possible. But usually with let, the thing that you want to do is a good thing. Yeah, it's a good thing. It's something you want. Because it's like you are asking, please let me do it. Please allow me to do it. And then they give you permission, right? So I could say one more example. The internet lets us learn languages more easily. Yeah, the internet lets us learn languages more easily. Exactly. Goy has said here, make is used to describe causing or forcing someone to do something. It implies a level of compulsion. Exactly. So to make is like to force someone, to cause someone to do something. So let's give some more examples. Let's say, actually, I am a very shy teenager. I'm a very shy teenager, and I don't actually, hang on, is anyone joining? No. Okay. Yeah, I'm a very shy teenager, and I don't actually want to go to a party. I would much rather stay at home and read my book and like watch a movie, right? But I can say, my friend made me come to the party, but I hated every minute of it. Yeah, I didn't like it, but my friend made me come. My friend said, you have to come. So here with social media, it should be make, right? Because nobody wants to become isolated. We don't want to be isolated, so it makes us. Or we could say social media makes us think we are more different from each other than we actually are. Can anybody think of an example with make, with social media or the internet? The internet makes us what? You can put up your hand. Knock.
The world becomes smaller.
Social media, good, makes the world smaller. And with makes, we can just directly say the adjective. We don't need to say make it become. We can just say it makes it smaller. True. Okay, and very good. Anybody else? I will go in order. So who is next? Duk. The internet makes what?
The internet makes everything easy.
Yeah, the internet makes everything easy to learn. That's true. However, personally, I would argue that easier or more convenient isn't always better, personally. Okay, all right, let's continue. So Pim Dao has says, I think social media has made it easier for us to connect with each other. We can send messages to each other anytime. This is more convenient than calling. Yeah. So I'm kind of in two minds here. Maybe we know this expression. I'm in two minds, right? This means I think A, but also B. So I'm in two minds here. Because for me, I don't like it when people call me randomly. It really stresses me out because I didn't prepare for this. I don't know what to say. However, I love it when people schedule a call with me and we can catch up by calling. For me, this is a really great way because I don't want to just catch up by writing messages because it's very exhausting and it's not so real. It's not so personable. But if a good friend calls me very randomly, perhaps I don't have time to answer that call. So I think there is a happy medium, right? A happy medium. This means something that is good in the middle. A happy medium. Okay, let's see if anyone has anything on Facebook. Yeah, social media makes us communicate conveniently. Absolutely. Yes, this is true. This is true. Okay, now let me ask you guys a problem. What would you like to change about the way you use social media or the internet? What would you like to change about the way you use social media or the internet? Perhaps you don't want to change anything, in which case you can just say, I don't want to change anything. I'm very happy with the way that I use social media. Yeah, please. Please. Go ahead.
Okay. If you ask me this question, I would like to share about shopping online.
Oh, okay, let me write this one down.
About shopping and lay down my couch shopping,
Oh, does anyone else have a problem with shopping online? Anyone else? Me, Goy says me. Goy, what is your problem with shopping online? Pim Dao says me too. I think everyone, not me. I have many problems in my life, but I don't have this problem. This is one problem I do not have. Oh, please, go.
The internet and social media makes me shock. Click is too much because I saw right like the advertisements. I'm always see the advertisement on the social media.
Okay.
That's why I want to buy things.
Can you describe a situation recently where you saw an advert and thought, okay, I have to buy this?
When I play TikTok,
Mhm.
TikTok,
Yeah, of course.
I always see the advertisement, the review, and it makes me want to buy.
Like, okay, someone else says me too in Facebook. Yeah, a few people agree with you. A few people agree with you. Quickly about this word, you can say advertisement, you can say advertisement. So you can say this word in two ways, advertisement or advertisement. But to be honest, most native speakers just say advert. Advert. Advert.
Actually, people in America just say
Ad, yeah. That one as well. Ad. I saw an ad on social media. Yeah, you can say that as well. You can say that as well. For me, an advert is like in a magazine or in a book or on the street. And an ad is really only on social media, on Instagram. Like if I use the words differently, I will use it like that. Like I saw an ad on TikTok, I saw an ad on Instagram. Play TikTok. What do we say? Hello? Yeah.
Shopping online. If I can change the way to use
Mm,
then I don't know how it that will when cooking, or I can't taste it. Then we don't know that that recipe has delicious at the same,
So, Doug, you have the opposite situation, right? So maybe you don't shop online because you feel that you can't accurately see if the product is good or not.
For food, sometimes we like to shop big for food,
Mhm.
but we don't know how it smells or it's like that.
Okay, so and Goy has said as well. Thank you, Doug. Goy has said as well that like shopping for clothes. That's really interesting. I think the same actually, because when I shop for clothes, I always prefer to try things on in person. Yeah, in person versus online. I always prefer to, because I like to feel the fabric. I like to feel how does it feel, on your skin. The size, exactly. The size, especially, I don't know how it is in Thailand, but in the UK, you can be like one size with one clothes and then a totally different size with another pair of trousers, another pair of jeans. It's very annoying. Okay, what else? Is there anything else you would change about how you use the internet? Yes, please.
Okay, I think social media maybe is a socialism.
Social media resume.
Okay, I mean when I woke up, no listen.
I think she mean like addicted.
Yes.
Addicted. Okay, thank you.
I mean when I have day off, when I woke up in the morning, first thing I focus on my phone. I see everything in my phone, notification, and I use my phone in 1 hour, 2 hours, and it's all day. I think make me is active all the time. I can stop or use this phone.
Yeah, we can say addicted. Addicted.
I think it's a reason make me no more activity.
You mean like exercise or sport?
Yes,
Ah,
not at least led to use social media.
okay, thank you very much for sharing. Let me teach you an interesting word to say that you agree with someone. You can say, that resonates with me. That resonates with me. That means like, resonate means a sound does this, right? There is a sound wave. And some sound waves are very high, some are very low. And if two things have the same frequency, they will like begin to do this, right? So I can say that resonates with me. That means I deeply understand your experience because I have the same experience. Yeah, that really resonates with me. Does this resonate with anyone else? Do you agree with what Nan is saying?
Thank you. Actually, I definitely agree with her. I also I wake up in the morning. The first thing I grab my phone to check what's going on in my friend group. Because we behind 12 hours behind Thailand time.
Oh.
When I woke up, like, what's going on? I need to check the news.
I think actually this is the worst. It was exactly the same. So I have many friends in China and Taiwan. And when I was living in the UK, it's exactly the same situation. I turn on my phone and suddenly like 500 messages, And it takes me a very long time to read all of them and to respond to all of them. And otherwise, I'm worried that I'm going to miss out. Do you guys know FOMO? What is FOMO? Does anybody know? Goy says, I totally agree. Yes. Now, actually, for me, it's the other way around because many of my friends are in the UK, which means that when I wake up, I feel very lonely because no one is online. Everybody is still sleeping. What is FOMO? FOMO is fear of missing out. Yes, Goy, that's correct. Fear of missing out. So this means that when we see people doing things that we are not doing, even if we are not really interested in doing that thing, we feel maybe a little jealous, we feel a little bit stressed because we're not doing it. We feel like missing out, right, means not experiencing something fun. So it means that you're scared because they will experience something fun and you won't. So for many people, this is why they check social media, FOMO. Or they think, what happens if next time we go to a party, everybody is talking about the last party, but I wasn't at the last party. So I can't be in this friendship group, right? Because I can't share the topic of conversation. Have you guys had any experience with FOMO? No? Personally, this is something which I have experienced. And for this reason, I only go on Instagram like maybe once a week or twice a week. Because I found that actually I was following many people from university. And I went to a pretty good university, which means that all of my friends and all of my classmates are doing amazing things. And so when I see them on Instagram, even though I'm also doing amazing things, right? I'm in Bangkok, I'm having a wonderful time, I'm traveling, I'm working for this wonderful organization, I'm meeting you guys, I still feel, my friend is in Sri Lanka. Well, good for her, you know, well, I hope she's happy. But of course, we don't really hope that they're happy, we're just jealous. So I definitely experienced this. Okay. So if you're addicted to the internet, you are an addict. So let's check the stress patterns for this. So to be addicted. Yeah, this ED is pronounced like id. Addicted. Yeah, addicted. And if you are addicted to something, you are an addict. So can we read this sentence? Can we read this sentence? Let's try. Good. An addict, so just be careful with the first one. An addict is addicted because of addiction. An addict is addicted because of addiction. And again, for those of you who were there on Sunday and you on Facebook too, remember everyone that this A, because it's not stressed, it becomes like an sound, right? It's not addicted, it's addicted. Addicted. Yeah, would you like to try? Addicted. And this ID sound at the end, in all words that end in ED with a T, it's the same, right? So weighted. hated. Hated. Yeah, so Pim Dao is saying addicted, correct. Addicted, 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 addicted. Good. Addicted. Okay, my next question for you, which I would like us to talk about briefly, then we will take a 10-minute break. Okay, so my next question for you is, do you think we should treat internet addiction like we treat alcohol or drug addiction? So my question is internet addiction also serious? Is internet addiction also serious? And this is not going to be a black and white answer, right? Of course, the answer is yes, but. Of course, this is the answer. But I'm interested into knowing your opinions on this. Anyone? Otherwise, I will choose somebody. What do I mean by treat here? I mean help, right? Help somebody. Okay, Isil, thank you, says, I think social media is no problem in my life. I have Line, Facebook, TikTok for work. Yes. Yeah, it's very useful. And I think an organization like IBHAP is the perfect example of an organization that uses social media to do good, right? Like, we absolutely can use it to do good. So, do we need to also treat internet addiction? Yes, please, knock.
For my ideas, I think internet addiction and alcohol or drug addiction is totally different. So I think we should not treat the same. So for me, internet for people who like had internet addictions, they could be used by more useful way, but alcohol and drug
Addicts. Yeah, you can call them addicts. Yeah, addicts. Okay, we don't say the word druggie. This is a very rude word. It's okay. For everybody who is listening, a druggie is kind of a rude word to describe a drug addict. You can just say a drug addict. No, it's okay. It's okay. What do you mean with the bad way?
Sorry?
What do you mean with the bad way? The bad way to do what? Oh, okay. Mm.
That's for me that internet is incorrect way.
Mhm.
Yeah, that for example.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's kind of has question too. I mean, depend on what you experience about
Sure.
the situation.
Mhm. I think, yeah, I think every answer is, it's not yes, it's not no, it's somewhere in the middle, right?
I used to work like hospital before I moved here. So many with people that they didn't have time for their kids. They always use like the phone, like do something, and the kids is like
So
to internet.
addicted, yes.
When they go to school, they don't focus on school, and they have problem, and then they come to have like to consult psychologists how to make the kid better. I mean that the biggest problem that I see I have seen before. But for that mean I don't know how to say it. We should treat different. I mean, not
Differently?
differently.
Okay, okay.
Treat differently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll take a 10-minute break now. If you like and you haven't spoken, you can spend your 10 minutes, you can think about how to answer this question. Okay? If you just also want to sleep, you can sleep. I'm not your mother. Okay. All right, let's come back at 10 past. Let's come back at 10 past. Okay, see you guys later. Facebook, can you hear me now? Thank you, Incy, for telling me.
Okay, I heard you now. Thank you, Incy,
Oh.
for telling me.
Oh, guys, why didn't you say anything?
Actually, I did on this when you first started. I didn't hear you. Probably you didn't see it.
No, I didn't receive any information from anyone. Okay, guys, next time if you can't hear me, please tell me. Please don't be polite, because otherwise I will be talking maybe for 10 minutes and I have no idea that you can't hear me. That's ridiculous, right? Okay. Yes, Pindar says, I think social media isn't a behavior. Sorry, social media addiction is a behavior that can be changed and has no serious effects on the body. While really, Pimdar, we should join this with a comma, right? While addiction to alcohol or drugs causes a lot of damage to the body. I mean, I definitely agree with you there. That's true. There are no direct benefit, like direct problems from being addicted to the internet in terms of your body. What does Duk say? Duk says, I think it should different way. Where is your verb? It should go, it should be, it should what? Treat? Let's have a look. Okay, so this is what Duk has written. Let's have a look. I think it should be treated, right? This is a passive. It should be treated. Why? Because who is treating it? I don't know. Yeah, it should be treated. And the question is, should we treat? So I think it should be treated. I think you can say, I think internet addiction, remember addiction is the noun, right? Internet addiction and alcohol addiction. Alcoholic is the person. So alcoholic is someone who is addicted to alcohol, or you can say an alcohol addict, but we don't say this, right? We say an alcoholic. Addiction is the state of being addicted. So it's a noun. And then to be addicted is the adjective, and an addict is the person. That's a lot. That's quite confusing. So I think internet addiction and alcohol addiction should be treated differently. Is this what you mean, Duk? Yeah, I think so, right? The degree of harm to others is different, right? Not just one other, many others. For alcohol, for alcoholics, right? Not just one alcoholic, many alcoholics. Everybody, this is a tip for you. When you're writing in English, I want you to check 3 things. First, is it singular or plural, right? This is the most basic thing, but all Thai speakers get it wrong every single time they speak. Okay, so please check. Do you need an S or no S? Secondly, please check what tense. Is it happening now? Is it happening tomorrow? Did it happen yesterday? Thirdly, please check the or a. Okay, I can guarantee that even if you think you haven't made any mistakes, if you go back and check these 3 things, there will be one mistake. Okay, so for alcoholics or drug addicts, we should bring them, I think you mean like therapy, right? or to go to rehab. We should bring them to rehab. Rehab is short for a rehabilitation center, and it's a place where addicts can go, they can live there, and they can get some treatment. So they can get some help. But for internet addiction, we should guide them how to use it properly. Okay, nice. Okay, B says, social media makes me find, this is the same problem, right? Social media does not make you find friends. Social media lets me find old friends. Makes me, it's like, you must find old friends. You must do it. It's not like that, right? Social media lets me find old friends. Basically, guys, if it's a good thing, it's probably lets. If it's a bad thing that you don't want to do, it's probably makes, right? So social media lets me find old friends that I hadn't met for a long time since I graduated. Okay, I will add one more thing here. Check I, you, who, right? In English, we always need to say who. I can't say since graduated. Since who graduated? Since my mother graduated? No, right? Since I graduated. Okay, nice. Incy says, I'm not addicted to the internet at all. I just require internet access 18 hours per day. I think, Incy, this is the first stage of addiction, right? The first stage of addiction is denial. Denial means you say, no, I'm fine. No, I'm fine. But actually, maybe you have a problem. Okay, let me now ask you guys on Zoom this question. Anybody who is willing to speak. Should we treat internet addiction like we treat drug addiction? Yes or no? Goy says, for me, the internet has both benefits and drawbacks, unlike substance use or drinking alcohol, which are inherently harmful. Yeah, guys, so for everyone who doesn't know, substance use or substance abuse is a better way to say taking drugs. It's a better way to say taking drugs. It's a more formal way to say taking drugs. Also, because for some people, their drug might be cigarettes, it could be alcohol, it could be food. These are all substances. Substances just means things, right? It just means stuff. So these are all things. So we can use this word to describe all of these problems. Sorry, 1 second. Denial. Denial means a state of mind where even though something bad is happening, you refuse to admit it. So for example, let's say my brother has lost his job, lost his apartment, lost all of his money. But I say to myself, oh, he's fine. He's okay. He'll be all right. There are no problems. This is denial. So I can say I am in denial, right? This means I am not accepting the reality of the situation. I'm in denial. So the first stage of maybe any addiction is to say, oh, it's fine. Actually, it's normal to drink, every day. Like everybody drinks every day. It's totally normal. Actually, it's not normal, right? Most people don't drink every day. Most people don't hide their drinking from their families, from their husbands, from their children, right? That's not normal. Okay. Whew. Heavy topic. Heavy topic. Let's go on to something in the last half an hour, totally different. Okay? Let's talk about how to write in English. So we are going to go from the basics up. So some of you guys will know this. Okay. So the most important thing in writing English is that we use what? What is important in writing English? Can you guys share? What is important in writing English? Good English. What do you guys think on Facebook? What is important in writing good English? You can put up your hand. Nothing? Okay, Wirani says, start with capital letters. Yes, capital letters are very important. Capital letters is big letters, right? Like E in English. This is a capital letter. For those of you who are interested, the reason we call it capital letters is because capital means head. It means your head. Like a capital city is the head city of a country, right? It's the most important city in a country. So a capital letter is like the head letter. Okay, Goy says grammar. Grammar is very important. Yes, of course. If you speak in English, if you write in English, grammar is very important. What else? What other things are important? Okay, we have some comments on Facebook. Thank you, everyone. Vocabulary, of course. Yes, vocabulary. Insi says spelling. Wirani says punctuation. And someone whose name I'm not sure how to pronounce, Supicha maybe, says tense. Yes, I think we can put tense in grammar. But tense is very important, right? Because if you use the wrong tense, a native speaker will misunderstand you. Maybe another second language speaker will think, oh, probably she doesn't mean this. Probably she means this. But actually a native speaker will just assume that you mean what you said, right? If someone says to me, I learnt English, I understand, oh, I now don't learn English. I stopped learning English. So tense is very important. Pim Dao says symbols and punctuation. Yes, exactly. We can put symbols in here. Wirani says subject-verb agreement. Ah, very good. Yeah, this is a very basic thing, which actually in English, subject-verb agreement is very easy compared to other European languages, right? Because we just have like 2 or 3. So I go, you go, we go, they go. It's all go, right? It's just he, she, it goes. So actually in English, this is not too difficult, but many people still get it wrong every time. Yeah, punctuation is like this, right? This is punctuation. Okay, Goy says clarity. Yes, being clear. This is very important. This is very important. Otherwise, people will not understand you. Okay. So first of all, let's look at punctuation and capital letters. Why? Because if you do these incorrectly, let me type this very clearly. If you use punctuation and capital letters incorrectly, you look like a child. This is tough love, right? But I'm sorry, it's true. If you have to write in English to anybody and you use punctuation and capital letters incorrectly, in the United States, in the UK, this is the first thing that we learn in school, okay? So actually, maybe it's a little bit embarrassing for you. Or maybe native speakers will think, this person clearly doesn't know English. Even if they speak English very well, if you write it and you do this incorrectly, it sounds like you don't speak English. Okay, someone says, should we avoid contractions when writing? So for everybody who doesn't know, contraction is like do not becomes don't, right? I am becomes I'm. This is a contraction. So in C, it depends on the level of the writing. So if you're writing a very formal thing, for example, an academic paper, or you are writing like for a conference, then yes, you should not use contractions. If you're just writing like a normal email to your friend, then no, you can use contractions. That's totally okay. But in general, saying cannot, for example, sounds very nice. It sounds formal. Saying can't sounds informal. So it depends on the level of your email or your piece of writing. If you want an easy way to sound more formal, then yes. Formal writing, yeah, we can use whole words, avoid contractions. Yes, Knox says avoid using abbreviations, right? Avoid using abbreviations. Abbreviations is like saying, it's funny, in English, PM means Prime Minister. So every time I see PM in Thai, I think Prime Minister, right? He's like our president. So maybe we have one president here today. Come in.
I think most people like to put ASAP.
They put
ASAP as soon as possible.
oh yeah, ASAP, yeah. So we have some abbreviations that are more common, right? So like using ASAP as soon as possible. If this is like a mid-level email, so not too advanced, not too formal, not too informal, then it's okay, yeah. And for example, it's okay to write this, it's okay to write this, that's no problem. Okay, let's have a look at punctuation. So this should be quite easy for everybody. I say, maybe it will not be easy. Let me zoom in. Okay, number one, which sentence is correct? 1 or 2? 1 or 2? We saw the Brooklyn Bridge, or we saw the Brooklyn Bridge. Which sentence is correct? Everyone on Facebook, you can also type just 1 or 2. Wirini says 2. Who else? 2. What do you guys think? In Zoom, Goy says 2. Knox says 2. Why 2?
So the Brooklyn, the difference between the first one and second one is Bridge is the first one is start with capital B, but it should not
It shouldn't start with a capital B.
Right, but Brooklyn is like special name is start with capital B.
So actually, this one depends. The answer for this one depends. For me, I would choose number 1. Why?
So you have to, please.
Why? Because this is a special name of a special place. But this is why it depends. For example, if I said, let's go back to our document. If I said, I'll meet you by the Corsham Bridge. Now, Corsham is not the name of a famous place. It's just the name of like a very ordinary town. This is the town where I grew up. So if you are curious, you can Google it. Yeah. So I'll meet you by the Corsham Bridge. Here, I'm not going to put a capital letter because it's not a special place. It's not a place that anybody knows. But let's see, if we Google the Brooklyn Bridge, like, is it a big bridge or is it a small bridge? I'm guessing it's pretty big, right? And actually, if we Google this on Wikipedia, it's the same thing. Hang on, zoom in. It's the same thing. So we Google it, we can see Brooklyn Bridge. Why? Because it's quite an important place. Yeah, it's big, exactly. So we can see here, how long is Brooklyn Bridge Walk? Why is the Brooklyn Bridge famous? Because it's the name of a place. Okay, let's look at the second one.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, please.
That is what you say like here, Millennium Park. You know, the park is start with capital P too. Yeah, I got it.
Okay, yes, exactly. So 1, 2, exactly. So if I Google London Bridge, it's going to be the same thing, right? Because London Bridge, this one bridge is very famous in London. Tower Bridge, London Bridge. And again, if we look at these names as well, the River Thames, the City of London. Why? Normally river and city, they are not special, right? So we don't use a capital letter. But in this context, the River Thames is the name of the river. The name is the whole thing, right? It's not just Thames. We always say the River Thames. And again, the City of London doesn't mean London, not Berlin. The City of London actually is a place in London. This is a little bit confusing. Okay, let's see what everyone says. June. Yeah. Number 2, which is correct. I think this one is easier. We're going to Germany in June. Correct. So what do we capitalize? Capitalize means to make or to write using a capital letter. So what do we capitalize? We capitalize like personal names. We capitalize names of months. We capitalize names of special places so far. What else can we capitalize? Oh, okay, someone has a question. What is the difference between the 2 choices? Yeah, if we look here, one of them has a capital B, one of them has a lowercase b, a small b, right? So when we write something with a capital, we are saying that this is a special, important thing. So it's not just any bridge, it's the London Bridge. It's a specific bridge. Okay. Number 3, which one is correct? 1 or 2? Goy, you are on 2 platforms. Prime Minister Napan. Exactly. To be honest, even though I have seen this for maybe 2 or 3 years now, every time I see PM, I still think Prime Minister, like Prime Minister Napan. Oh, it's also a nice way of showing respect, right? Okay, exactly. So the second one is correct. Why? Because this is the name of the country. Okay, what about number 4? One. Yeah, it's the name of the month. It's the name of the month. What about number 5? Goy has corrected me. Yeah, I do know what this one stands for. It's just that every time I see PM, my first thought is Prime Minister. But don't worry, I don't call him Prime Minister. 1B. This one, we're going to choose the first one. Why? Because summer is not special. So in English, we use a capital letter for the names of the months: January, February, April, May, June, July, but we don't use it for the seasons. Okay, 6, which is correct? I love learning French. Oh, do you? Well done. When I was in school, I hated learning French. 1, 2, 2. For French, this one again is 2. Why? Because it's the name of a language, it's the name of a country. Okay, number 7. The Jamaican man was cooking dinner. One, 2. Oh, here we have some different. Okay, no, that's just come a little slowly. Yeah, for number 7, we're going to choose 1 again. Why? We're going to choose 1 because this is the name of his country, the name of his nationality. So we often use, let's add it here, names of special places, names of countries, names of languages, names of like books, right? Books, often music, names of films, names of plays, names of other media. Okay, number 8. First of all, this quiz is from America, right? In the UK, we say maths with an S on the end. We don't say math. I'm pretty bad at math. Yeah, I'm pretty bad at math. I'm pretty bad at maths, we say in the UK. 1, this one we say 2, mathematics. We just say number 2. It's nothing special. It's nothing special. Maybe if I gave a talk, then I would capitalize it. So let's look at number 9, for example. One of the courses that I have to take next year is Math 3. Yeah, for this one, we're going to choose number 2. Why? Because it's the name of a specific course. It's like the title of something. Yeah, I think maybe a few people are confused with this one. Okay, number 10. Is it 1 or 2? I saw Senator Brown in the lobby. Okay, they are definitely American. We don't have any senators in the UK. In the UK, if we talk about senators, we think about the Roman Empire. 1, 2, 10, 1. Yeah, 10 should be number 1 because we also capitalize titles. What are titles? For example, Miss May. So my title, I don't have a special title, right? I'm not I don't know, I'm not anyone special. So you can call me Miss May, right? You can call me Miss May. And here we will capitalize Miss. Or we can say, oh, look, it's the Prime Minister. Oh, look, it's the President. So we will capitalize these here. So Goy says, can I call you Miss Melissa? So usually in English-speaking countries, Miss goes with our surname, like Miss or Mr. or Ms. or Mrs. or Doctor or whatever, it will go with our surname. So usually people would call me Miss May. Maybe if you were in a primary school or a nursery, somebody could call me Miss Melissa. But other than that, people would usually call me Miss May. For me, I don't have any problem if you call me Melissa. I'm not, a very formal person. But if you were my students in a real school, if you were children, then you would call me Miss May. Mrs. Holmes, exactly. So what does Mrs. mean? Mrs. means you are a married woman. What does Miss mean? What does Miss mean? Mrs. It's pronounced Mrs. And it means you are a married woman or your husband has died, right? Your husband has died or you are a married woman. What about Miss? You can put your hand up or you can say in the chat. Who will use Miss? Yeah, knock.
You are single, was married.
Yes. Yeah, we can say unmarried. If you say not married, it sounds a bit like, why are you not married? Yeah, unmarried. So exactly. So Miss is used for unmarried women. Unmarried women. Okay. Oh, what's going on here? Okay. What about Ms? Ms. MS, which is pronounced Ms. Ms. What about this? Who uses Ms? Yeah, Goy says if you don't know their status. So there are two situations where we can use Ms. First of all, it's if you don't know if you should say Miss or Mrs., right? The second situation is if the woman prefers it. So some women, they think actually it's very unfair that for men, we just have one, right? We say Mr. It doesn't matter if he's married or not. And so some women, they think, okay, but why does everybody need to know if I am married or not, right? That's not important. So they will say Ms. Actually, we do have another one, master, but we don't use this very often. Master is for a very young man or a boy. And the only time really you will see this is like in some old films or books. Okay, I just read Insi's remark. Everybody, you can read this yourself. I am not going to comment on Thai democracy. Okay, so old films or books, or maybe some like rural or elderly people will still say this, right? Or maybe if you get a very formal letter. For example, my brother, when he was a child, if he got a letter from the bank about his bank account, they would call him Master Jack May, right? But actually, most people, we don't say master, we just say Mr., Mrs., Miss, Ms. So one thing for men, three things for women. Okay, general. Yes, you can say general. There are many different titles. General is someone who is in the military. It's a military rank, right? Someone who is in the army at a special level, right? You can't just say general to anyone who is in the army. Only people who are at a very important level and have the rank of general can you address with general. Okay, that was a nice interlude. Okay, let's go back. Capitalization. Okay. The next thing, just in the last 10 minutes, that I'd like to talk about is full stops. What are full stops? Full stops? In America, they call them periods. In the UK, we call them full stops. Why? Because you totally stop. Okay, I'm not going to, again, talk about that comment. Okay, so when do we use a full stop? You don't use full stops in the same way in Thai, right? You don't use them in the same way. Yes, it can be a little bit confusing. So we use full stops at the end of a sentence, at the end of a thought. So let's have a look. There are 12 missing full stops here. Where should we put the full stops? Where should we put the full stops? Somebody tell me, where should I put the first full stop here? After what word? Yeah, afternoon. I found him in the garage on a Sunday afternoon. Oh, I guessed correctly. Just looking at this first line, I knew what book it was from because we had to read this book in school. Yeah, I found him in the garage on a Sunday afternoon, full stop. Which is the next one? Yeah, it was the day after we moved into Falconer Road. So you guys can see that this is quite easy because we have capital letters. Where there are capital letters, there should always be a full stop before. So for example, hello, right? If there is a full stop or punctuation, afterwards, we have to use a capital letter. So hello, let's learn English, like this, right? Okay, let me test you on something a little bit harder. Okay, all the full stops and the capital letters have been removed in this text. So tell me, where should the first stop go? It was a bright sunny day when the children left the house for the mountain walk. They each had a rucksack, blah, 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 blah. Where should the first full stop go? Yeah, good. Mountain walk. It was a bright sunny day when the children left the house for the mountain walk. Full stop. Full stop. How did you know? How do you know that this is the place to put the full stop?
Because I read and I feel like it's finish the sentence already.
Yeah, to be honest, for most people, it's just a feeling. Yeah, Insi says one thing is different when we write in Thai. It doesn't matter if we have short or long sentences. We never have full stops, but we can still read and understand. Yes, in English, we do have full stops. So one of the easy ways you can tell, should I have a full stop, is there a new change of topic or person? So let's look at this as an example. So here we have the children left the house for the mountain walk. Then we have they, we have a pronoun. Right? They each had a rucksack with the items needed for the day. Okay, where is the next full stop? Pardon?
After item.
Oh, they each had a rucksack with the items, full stop. They needed for the day, these consisted. Okay, so when you're checking where there should be a full stop, you need to look, does the sentence make sense on its own? For example, here, they needed for the day, these consisted. In every sentence, we need a subject. So the person, like I, you, he, she, the children. Oh, interesting. Maybe Thai has a full stop, but we never use it. Oh, I recommend you try to use it. It's a very great thing to use in your writing. Okay, so we need a subject, we have a verb, and we have an object. This is a very simple way of describing a sentence. Maybe if you guys know more about grammar, you know that there are many types of sentences, but this is a very simple sentence. So the object is, so for example, if I say, I need, what do I need? What do I need? I need help. I need a dog. I need some water. So can I say, they need these consisted? They need these consisted? No, right, because consisted is a verb. So I need a noun. They needed chocolate. They needed something, something. So actually the full stop should go after needed. It should go here. So we need to put a capital on they and a full stop here. Why? Because here there is like a silent that, right? They each had a rucksack with the items that or which they needed. Okay, let's go back to our text. Where is the next full stop?
For the day.
Yeah, with the items they needed for the day. That's my fault, thank you. Yeah, with the items they needed for the day. And then full stop, right? These consisted of ham sandwiches with thick slices of bread, blah, 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 and bottled water, full stop. Why? Because then we have another verb. They had. We have another verb phrase. They had, right? They is the subject, had is the verb. They had, what did they have? A light anorak. An anorak is a type of jacket. So they had this jacket in case it rained. Okay, well done, everybody. Let's end it there. Let's recap, first of all, what we learned today. So we talked about so many different things. What did we talk about? First of all, we talked about social media. We talked about the internet. We had a short discussion. We talked about the difference between to let and to make, right? So to let means to allow, permit, make it possible. Usually it's something that you want, right? So my mom lets me go to parties until 11 a.m. So I want to go, and I asked her, hey mom, like, can I go? Please, 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 please. And she said yes. Computers let us talk to friends all over the world. To make is to force somebody, to make someone, to cause someone to do something. My friend made me come to the party, but I hated every minute of it. Okay, we talked about shopping online. We learned this new expression, I'm in two minds. We learned the expression happy medium. Also the difference between advertisement, advertisement, adverts, and ad. Play TikTok, you can say go on TikTok. And actually, this should be a capital letter too, right? Because it's a thing, it's a name. So go on TikTok, go on Instagram, go on Facebook, go on the computer. We talked about addiction. I gave you guys some tips on if every time you write a text in English, I'd like you to check these 4 things, right? Singular or plural, what is the tense? Sorry, I just have a brilliant comment. I dance, you dance, he dances. Why does he dance more than us? Actually, INSEE, there is a reason for this, but it's very, very complicated and very confusing. And I think probably nobody actually cares. It's maybe just me and other people who study linguistics who care about this. But there is a reason for this. Okay, we also talked about, finally, capital letters and what we should do to write good English. So let's end it here for the day. We talked about PM Napan is not the Prime Minister. Yes, he is not the Prime Minister. Maybe he would make a good Prime Minister, but unfortunately he is Thai, so he can't be the Prime Minister in the UK. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Let's end it there. Thank you very much. I'm going to assign you some homework. So if you would like, please join Ellie and you can do the homework. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone who joined on Zoom. Thank you to everyone who was willing to speak. It makes a big difference. Okay, bye-bye, everyone. Bye.
I think today's class go well than yesterday.
Yeah,
What do you think?
yeah, because they came.
Yeah.
So happy. Yeah, it's just also because yesterday, yeah, hang on. Yeah. Oh, maybe OBS we can stop.